In the scorching blaze of a New Hampshire debate stage under spotlights that could sear through steel, Denzel Washington stood like a colossus forged from unyielding resolve. Miss Leavitt, he roared, his voice a tidal wave crashing over crowds, silencing every whisper you dare question my family's loyalty to this nation. Buckle up, because I'm about to drop a truth bomb that'll shatter your glass house into a million jagged shards. The audience gasped, phones whipped out, capturing every heart pounding. Second, Karoline Leavitt, the young Republican firebrand with her polished smile and rehearsed jabs, froze like a deer caught in a hunter's sights. Her eyes widened, her manicured hands gripping the podium as if it were her only anchor in a raging storm. This wasn't just a debate. It was a clash of giants, a powder keg ready to erupt in the heart of American politics. The topic: who truly belongs in the land of the free. Leavitt had fired the opening salvo earlier, sneering at Washington's immigrant roots, hinting his family hadn't earned their place like hers. Had big mistake. Massive. Denzel, the Oscar-winning legend turned unexpected political titan, wasn't here to play. He was here to unleash a hurricane of truth, and tonight he was armed to the teeth. Let me paint you a picture, Miss Leavitt. Denzel continued, his baritone voice dipping low, pulling everyone like a magnet. My grandfather didn't waltz into America on a velvet carpet, no. He clawed his way from the dirt-poor fields of Jamaica, crossing oceans on a creaking ship that reeked of desperation, and dreams. Landed in New York 1923 with nothing but calloused hands and a fire in his gut that could outshine the statue of Liberty herself. The crowd leaned forward, hanging on every syllable. Leavitt shifted, her smile cracking like brittle glass. Denzel paced the stage, owning it like he owned every role had ever played, from Malcolm X to The Equalizer. He worked the docks, breaking his back, hauling crates heavier than his regrets, fought tooth and nail against racism that hit harder than any storm. But he didn't break. He built, married my grandmother, a fierce woman from the same island soil. And together they raised kids who believed in the American promise, not the easy one, the real one, the one where you grind until your bones scream, serve until your heart bursts. Denzel's eyes locked onto Leavitt's, piercing through her facade. My father, he enlisted in World War II, stormed Normandy beaches with bullets, buzzing past like angry wasps, risked it all for a country that still saw him as Les came home a hero, but couldn't even vote in some states without jumping through hoops meant to trip him up. Yet he stood tall, taught me loyalty isn't inherited, it's forged in the crucible of sacrifice. The room fell silent. You could hear hearts thumping, breaths held. Leavitt tried to cut in, her voice shaky. Mr. Washington, this is about policy, not personal. But Denzel raised a hand, gentle yet commanding, like a king silencing a fool. Oh, we're getting to policy. All right, he said, his tone sharpening to a blade's edge. But first, let's talk about your family. Since you flung that door wide open, I did my homework. Miss Leavitt, years in the intelligence community taught me how to dig deep, verify true from lies. And what I found is a bombshell, a gut puncher that'll make your ancestors spin in their graves. Leavitt's face, pale color draining like sand through a sieve. The audience murmured, sensing the explosion about to hit. Denzel paused, letting the tension coil like a spring. Your great-grandfather, Heinrich Muller. Yet I said Muller before the name changed to sound more American. He wasn't some innocent immigrant fleeing hardship, no ma'am. He was a high-ranking SS officer in World War II, escaped to Argentina after the war, then slithered into the U.S. under a fake identity in the late 1940s, courtesy of some dark operation. Paperclip deals, gas, erupted, phones buzzed, tweets flying like sparks. Leavitt stammered, "That's not true, that's slander." But Denzel held up a folder thick with papers, waving it like a banner of proof. Declassified files, Miss Leavitt, public records from the National Archives. Your family didn't earn their place by choice. They stole it by deceit. While my kin were fighting Nazis on the front lines, yours were aiding them, and you have the nerve to question whose loyalty runs deeper. The debate hall ignited into chaos. Moderators scrambled, but the damage was done. Leavitt's campaign, once a blazing star in the GOP sky, began crumbling right there on live TV. Donors, watching from luxury boxes, slammed their checkbooks shut. Staffers backstage swapped, panicked. Looks resumes, already updating in their minds the New Hampshire Republican Party, sensing the fallout, issued a statement. Within hours, we distanced ourselves from any unproven claims, but it was too late. The video clip went viral, faster than a wildfire, racking up millions of views before midnight. Denzel didn't gloat. He didn't need to. He stood calm as a still lake, letting the facts do the heavy lifting. This isn't about revenge, he said, his voice softening, pulling the crowd back. And it's about truth. America isn't great because of bloodlines or birthrights. It's great because of what we choose to stand for: freedom, justice, equality. My family chose that path through hell and high water. Yours, well, That's a story you'll have to wrestle with as a debate. Close, the aftershocks rippled across the nation. Social media blazed like a city skyline. Hashtag Denzel drops truth. Trended globally memes of Leavitt's stunned face, paired with Denzel's ironclad stare flooding feeds. Pundits dissected the moment, a masterclass in composure. One said the death knell for Leavitt's ambitions, another declared, "But let's rewind, because this didn't start on that stage. It brewed in the undercurrents of fractured America, where immigration debates burn like bonfires." Karoline Leavitt, at just 25, had exploded onto the scene as a Trump-backed congressional candidate, her words sharp as a razor. She championed America first, railing against open borders and unvetted immigrants who, in her words, dilute our values. Her family story, she spun it like a fairy tale, descendants of hard-working Europeans who built this nation from nothing, conveniently skipping the uglier pages. Denzel Washington was more than an actor, a philanthropist, a veterans advocate, a man whose real-life weight matches on-screen legend. When invited to debate Leavitt on a primetime special build as Hollywood versus hardliners, he accepted not for fame, but for principle. "I got skin in this game," he told friends. "My bloodline's American through and through, earned the hard way." Preparation was everything. Denzel didn't wing it. He assembled a crew, historians, genealogists, external operatives from his network. They pored over records late into the night, coffee, feeling their mission. What they uncovered about Leavitt's lineage wasn't just scandalous. It was dynamite. Heinrich Müller, born in Bavaria in 1905, joined the Nazi Party. In 1933, rose to SS Obersturmverhandlung, logistics for concentration camps. When the Allies closed in, he fled via Ratlins to South America, then reinvented himself as Henry Miller, a displaced person from Eastern Europe, entered the U.S. in 1949, settled in New England, built a family business. Thriving on government contracts, the name morphed to Leavitt through marriage and anglicization, burying the past under layers of lies. Denzel triple-checked every detail, no room for error. He insisted this has to be bulletproof, and it was when he dropped on stage a hit like a thunderbolt post-debate. The fallout was brutal. Leavitt's press conference the next day was a disaster, flanked by nervous advisors. She denied, deflected, called it fake news.